The Security Council, the United Nations' most powerful body, adopted a resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire in Gaza for the first time. The United Nations expressed deep concern about the catastrophic humanitarian sufferings in the Gaza area. It is also calling for the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages held by the Palestinian Hamas organization. The world is anxiously watching whether it will have any influence on the military strikes by the Israeli government or Hamas regarding the course of the war. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Security Council just approved a long-awaited resolution on Gaza Strip, demanding an immediate ceasefire and the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. This resolution must be implemented. Failure would be unforgivable, Guterres wrote on X. European Commission President Ursula Leyen welcomed the Security Council's resolution. Implementation of this resolution is vital for the protection of all civilians, von der Leyen wrote on X. European Council President Charles Michel on X. It is now urgent for the ceasefire in Gaza to be upheld. Humanitarian aid must be allowed to enter Gaza, Michel added. The Palestinian Authority welcomed the Security Council's demand. We hail the Security Council resolution. We call for a permanent cessation to this criminal war and Israel's immediate withdrawal from the Gaza Strip. Israeli army continued the battle with Hamas militants in the Gaza Strip till today, with no sign of a let-up in the war despite a UN demand for an immediate ceasefire, leading to a lasting truce. The resolution was adopted after the United States abstained from voting. The United States had already vetoed 3 resolutions supporting ceasefire in Gaza, the most recent an Arab-backed measure on February 20th. That resolution was supported by 13 council members with 1 abstention, expressing the overwhelming demand for a ceasefire. Russia and China vetoed a U.S.-sponsored resolution in late October. They again vetoed a U.S. resolution this Friday. Russia and China were accused of using the Gaza conflict as a political cudgel to try to divide the Security Council at a time when it needed to be united. That vote became another showdown involving major powers that are locked in tense disputes elsewhere, with the United States taking accusations for not being tough enough against Israel as tensions between the two countries were rising. Shortly before vote, the elected members changed the final draft resolution to drop the word permanent from its demand that a Ramadan ceasefire should lead to a sustainable halt in fighting. Apparently, at the request of the United States, Russia complained that dropping the word permanent could allow Israel to resume its military operation in the Gaza Strip at any moment after Ramadan and proposed an amendment to restore it. That amendment was defeated. Ramadan ends April 9th. The ceasefire demand would last for just 2 weeks if it's observed. According to the United Nations Charter, Security Council resolutions are legally binding on its 193 member states, though they are often flouted. Netanyahu accused the U.S. of retreating from a principled position by letting the vote to pass without the condition of ceasefire on the release of hostages held by Hamas. Since the beginning of the war, the Security Council has adopted 2 resolutions on the worsening humanitarian situation in Gaza area. Gaza faces a dire humanitarian emergency. A report from an international authority on hunger warned last week that famine is imminent in northern Gaza and that escalation of the war could push half of the territory's 2.3 million people to the brink of starvation.